everyone. My name is Laura Darling. I'm Vice President of Communications and Spiritual Care for Covia, and I'm here today with Grant Edelstone, who is our Senior Director of Risk Management. And I have asked him today because he is our expert on all sorts of legal notices that come out from the state. And recently we received one from the state that was particularly about voting. So I thought I would ask him to talk a little bit about that. Hello, Grant.
Hello, Laura.
So could you tell us a little bit about what the notification was that came out recently and what it means for people?
Sure. Well, as you may have seen, if you're watching any kind of TV or listening to the radio or reading the paper, there's a big push to make everyone aware that we have a general election coming up on November 3rd. And we've gotten guidance from the Department of Public Health and the Department of Social Services and even the Centers for Disease Control on how to help our residents participate in civic life and do their duty as a citizen and as a resident to vote, and how we could help them exercise those rights.
All right. So what are the kinds of things that our communities can do, our staff can do to help residents vote this year?
Well, I think the biggest thing we can do to help people vote is help them be connected with and participate in civic life like they may have done before they came to live in our communities and hopefully have continued after coming to live with us. So we can help inform everyone that November 3rd is election day and that they have the right to receive staff assistance to help exercise their right to vote if they need it. We can let everyone know that vote by mail ballots have been mailed to everyone that's currently registered, and that the last day for someone to register is October 19th, next Monday, and that people can find safe ways to vote to help prevent the spread of COVID-19.
All right, so what are some of the safer ways to vote that we have as options?
Well, one thing you can do to stay safe is to vote by mail. Avoid voting in person. But if you want to and like to vote in person, the CDC actually has some things that will help you stay safer. If you're going to handle a ballot, try to handle it as little as possible and wear gloves. If you go to a polling station, you should only go if you feel physically well and you have no respiratory symptoms. Try to avoid the lines by having your documentation and forms prepared in advance. Get familiar with who and what is on your ballot before you arrive at the polling station. Try to go at an off-peak time, like mid-morning. Bring your own black pen or e-stylus if you have one. And then the things we're all familiar with: wear a cloth face covering or mask, wear gloves, maintain a physical distance of at least 6 feet from others if you're standing in line, and use hand sanitizer frequently before and after you touch objects or surfaces. Wash your hands when you get home. You could consider wearing eye protection like goggles. And if you're going to stand in a long line, maybe bring a portable chair and wear comfortable shoes if you're concerned about that.
All right. Well, given that we can't guarantee any particular day we may or may not feel well, it seems to speak to perhaps voting early. So what are some of the options that people have for that?
Sure. Hopefully you've already received a vote by mail ballot, because the governor did a proclamation and every registered voter should have been sent one in the mail already. You can actually go online and there's a way to track where the status of that ballot. You can get your election materials online or by mail in your preferred language. You can contact your county election office to find alternative voting methods, such as a remote accessible vote by mail. There's that option now. So there are ways that you can vote early and avoid having to go to a polling station.
All right. And you talked about how staff can help our residents vote. So what are some of the ways that staff can help residents with their voting process?
So again, with education, just reminding residents that there is an election and what the timelines are for the election. And if a resident asks for assistance to help them in a way that observes their privacy and confidentiality, that could be helping them register if they've changed their address, update their voter registration if needed. We can help everyone be aware that unfortunately there are scams around voting where people say, oh, avoid exposure to COVID-19 and we'll help you vote if you give us a fee or give us your bank account number. Hopefully no one will give out that information. So those are some general things that staff can do. And then the other things I mentioned, help people with going online or getting materials in the language that they prefer, help read the election materials to someone, and help someone with the alternative voting methods.
All right. So particularly maybe if you are low vision, that could be something that staff can do, is to read the materials to you. Is that what one of the ways?
Yes, I mean, it's easier to almost say what you're not allowed to do,
okay.
if that's a way to look at it.
Yes.
And then things that nobody is allowed to do for anyone is you can't influence a resident's vote. You can't mark a ballot in any way other than the resident directs you to. You can't tell anyone how a resident voted. You can't decide if someone is mentally incompetent to vote. You can't determine if a resident is eligible to vote. And you can't vote on their behalf if you're unable to reliably determine how the resident wants to vote. So basically, you have to listen to the resident, respect their wishes, and do what they are directing you to do is the easiest way to put that.
Okay, great. Is there anything else that you think everybody should know about how residents can vote, or how we should be preparing for the election this year?
I think just getting up to speed on the issues and who the candidates are, knowing that you can vote early if you want your vote to count, and that you don't have to go to a polling station. They've made it very easy to obtain a ballot, to mail it in without any postage, to have it dropped off at a ballot box. So there's ways to participate in this important civic activity without having to interact with too many other people, and to have your voice heard and make your vote count.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, Grant. I will also compile some of the links to some of the sites that you mentioned and put it on our website and share it in further information. So if you would like further information about that, please do go to our website and also to the weekly update. We'll put some information in there so that we have information to share and everybody knows where to go. Thank you again, Grant, and I hope everybody stays safe. Thank you for participating today.